What's up, class? This is our week 8 video reflection on marketing. Alright, so a few different things. We basically started off this class taking an overlook view at what a brand is and how we would develop a brand. So we decided we have a market for something, right? So we identify first the marketplace and or the market, whether it's going to be a physical marketplace with various environmental factors, or whether it's going to be a wholly online business or a blend of the two, however that may be, right? Once we've identified those factors and that we do indeed have a market, and then we identify our marketplace and how we're going to structure our product, right? Then we work on the branding portion of it. And components of that are many different components. What style do we want? What customer are we appealing to? What age group and demographic are they from? Are they male? Are they female? Are they both? So many different factors go into branding. It's more than just a logo. It's more than just a company representation. However, other factors that you want to consider in that are your pricing structure and how that pricing structure can change, or whether you want it to be essentially a fixed market value that stays in the market based on what you're doing with your brand and based on where your brand is headed. So it would maybe adjust for inflation and things like that, but it would stay relatively same value. So factors included in that are going to be things like whether or not, as we move down into the execution portion of it, whether or not you're going to discount your products, and if you are, how much, how often, that kind of thing, because it's important to understand not only where you fit within the marketplace and your competitors and their discount schemes and so on, but also whether or not you risk devaluing your brand. And some companies take this extremely seriously. Companies like Oakley, Apple, are just a couple of the consumer goods companies that come to mind that you're unlikely to find discounts on them. Lululemon is another one that's pretty commonly like that. You will not find much of a discount. Their products are not cheap, but they're not necessarily excessively expensive. In some cases they are. I feel like significantly more than other products in the marketplace. But they do a good job of trying to at least convince the consumer of why their products are worth that. And so they've fixed this market value. They say this is going to be the market value that we are going to maintain. We're going to adjust and work with inflation a little bit, but we're going to work hard to not devalue our brand. So when competitor products come out, we're going to try to differentiate our brand between their brand and why we're charging more. So those are important factors. Other companies, I think one of the case studies we did was Bed Bath & Beyond, and I've seen this also with clothing companies and whatnot as well, where if you consistently and regularly discount your product eventually becomes valued at the discount price, not at the price you set initially. And this can hurt your brand significantly. So those are some of the factors that come into play. We also looked at when you're dealing with branding within a marketplace, some of the changes that could happen within that marketplace and whether or not you need to adapt to it and how you might do so. So wrapping up this module, we're moving into connecting with the customer. And what do you do, especially in today's social media world, with the impact of negative brand image? So what happens when something detrimental to your business occurs or a crisis happens and things can spiral really quickly out of control? So we took a look at that, we investigated that, we did a few case studies on that, some examples of that. I think the one I did was on Boeing, there was one on United, there was a handful of other companies out there, including Chipotle, and their brand image being hurt by some I guess you would call it poisonings, but some food poisonings that were caused by some contaminated food products. Anyway, how do you handle that? How do you respond to that? What's the appropriate response? I think Chipotle did a good job. They responded quickly and decisively. Some other companies such as United and Boeing, I think, being a little bit less of a consumer goods company and more of a heavy manufacturing company, they weren't really as culturally aware, I should maybe say, as the other companies on how to respond and handle social pressure, social media pressure, and negative publicity. They haven't really had to deal with that as much, and so I think they fumbled in their response. Anyway, so that's where we're at now. That's what I've learned so far. We've done a lot of cool projects, and I'm really looking forward to how this module wraps up. Thanks.